Sometimes when you're looking at an object in the distance or trying to see through something to get a clear view, and you just can't quite get it straight. If you just move a little bit one direction or the other, it completely changes the perspective and you can see clearly what it is you were trying to focus on. Well, Israel needed a change in their perspective in 1 Samuel chapter 17. Also chapter 9 and Matthew chapter 2 are part of our reading today, but this idea of a changed perspective really comes into clear focus when we look at 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 46, which says, "This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will give the carcasses of the camp of the Philistines to the birds of the air and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel." The confidence that David had, his perspective was right. And so it just had an amazing impact in what takes place. And of course, we're talking about his challenge to the giant Goliath of the Philistines. He was facing a foe, well, none of the Israelites wanted to believe were willing to go up against this giant. He was a formidable foe, an impressive foe, because he had been a warrior from his youth. He was unstoppable in the eyes of the Israelite army. But then there's this shepherd boy who had confidence not in a spear or in a sword or in the fact that he had gone to military school and so he was a military strategist. None of that. He had confidence in his God. He knew that the battle was not Israel's, but that it belonged to the Lord. And so therefore his confidence was in God. And for him, it was a matter of God's glory that was at stake here. And therefore it was his battle and not David's. But he put himself in God's hand for God to use him in any way that he could. And he had the right perspective on the whole thing. And therefore the victory in his mind was already won because God is who he is, and he is all powerful, and that his ability was not the issue here, but it was God's glory that was at stake. And so this uncircumcised Philistine would be in David's eyes nothing before him. And the reality of it is, dear ones, that God has not changed. The battle is still not ours, but the Lord's. We do not fight for victory, as someone said, but we fight from victory, because God calls those things which do not exist as though they did. We must have those eyes of faith, and that those things that are eternal are the things that stand out in our minds and in our thinking, and that's our reality, not the things that we can see, feel, touch, smell, taste, all those things. Living on that plane dramatically changes our perspective. The challenge is to know our God and with eyes of faith believe that his plans and his purposes are what matter. There is a God in our lives, and he is the almighty potentate of all heaven and earth, and he is able to do exceeding and abundantly above all that we are able to ask or think. That's who we trust, and that's who we fix our eyes upon. And when we do that, our perspective is changed, because we see things on an eternal plane and not on an earthly plane. Amen. Pray the Lord will bless you today as you focus your eyes on him.